Я всіх чую.
Hello, my friends. Operator Starsky here. Welcome to our stream. And before I introduce my guests, let me say thank you to our moderators, Janine, Ali. Lisa, are you there? I hope she is. Guys, today we will talk about volunteering for Ukraine, and not only that, and with big pleasure, let me introduce our tonight's guests because it's almost night in Ukraine. Eugene Slavny, and here we before you say something about yourself, here we have Eugene Rashman, and with big pleasure, let me also introduce Chaz. Hello, Chaz. Okay, let me try and make ourselves seen on one screen. All right. Oh my God, magic of television works. Alrighty. So, well, let's start with you, Eugene Slavny. Can you say a couple words about yourself, please?
Yeah, basically, hi. Yeah, I'm Eugene, and we started United 24 Media when the war started. We understood that what Ukraine lacks is effective and high quality media in English about Ukraine overall. And yeah, that's what we started. And you can check our YouTube channel and check what we did.
Yeah, thank you so much. Just to make things clearer, today we're talking with communications team of United 24 Media. Guys, you probably heard about this organization a lot, seen their videos, and those guys helped me to connect with Chaz, our today's guest, and Chaz volunteers for the Ukrainian armed forces. We will talk about it a bit later, though. And we have Eugene number two, which is Eugene Rashman. Can you say hello to our people, internet peoples? My God, my English sucks tonight.
Hey, that's fine. Hey guys, so my name is Eugene. We have two Eugenes here, I guess, that only Eugenes do the communication tasks. And I'm that guy who helped United 24 Media to cooperate with over 15 influencers last year. I'm that guy who helped to communicate with multiple military blocks. And yeah, we're that one of our main tasks is not only to cover the war, but also to present our culture, our history, and to to present the present day figures and heroes.
You're doing a great job, guys. Chaz, my friend, it's a pleasure to meet you, and it's a big honor to have you here tonight on our stream. Can you say a couple of words about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm an American. I did 6 years in the U.S. military, and most of my job it's specialized in kind of CQB, which is close quarters battle. And when Ukraine, when the whole war kind of popped off, I started by supporting it, through money and things like that. Because I had some friends that were or had been fighting in Donbass since 2017. And then they kind of eventually talked me to come over here. And this was originally supposed to be a 3-month kind of thing. I was going to be in Ukraine short term. And here it is 2 years later. And I'm still, kind of hanging out in the country, trying to help in any way I know how, or in any way I can, rather.
So basically, you were helping our guys since 2017, right?
Yeah. So I had some friends that I had fought with in Syria. And when we all kind of left and went our separate ways, a good number of them came up to Donbass or to Ukraine to fight the Donbass wars. A couple of them are actually fairly well known because they were captured by the Russians and sentenced to death and have since been released. And a couple of them are not. The guy that actually helped me get over here is a gentleman named Crusader. And I think you may or may not have seen his, his Instagram pages and things like that. But his name's Alex. And so we had stayed in touch for a good period of time, obviously between Syria and now. And when the war popped off, he started out like, hey, we need help. We need money because we got to get, uniforms. We got to get helmets. We got to get body armor, just very basic things for the troops at the time. And I had my own business back home, or in America rather, and was kind of help supporting him any way I know how. And he really kind of put a call out that, man, we really need help training troops. We need to take these guys who are fishermen, farmers, whatever it is they did, mechanics before, and help train them to actually be troops that would be viable on a battlefield. So I kind of answered that call. And like I said, I was going to be here for 3 months, and this would have been May of 2022. I was planning on being home, by September. And I just kind of fell in love with the country and what I was doing here. And like I said, 2 years later, here I am.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing, because every foreign volunteer I've been talking to about Ukraine, and when I ask what do you like about Ukraine most, they usually say like it's just cool, like yeah, it's simply cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I have a question for Eugene. Yeah. Can you say several words about United 24 in general for those of our viewers who probably never heard about your work and what you are doing?
Yeah, of course. So basically, when the war broke out, me personally, I was a special correspondent in 2014. So I was working on the front line for a long time when the actual war with Russia started, and when this war, broke out. I felt that it's my responsibility to use the experience I received back to the days, and I was like 8 year older. So I gathered the group of professionals from advertisement, video production, and but when the war started, like people really wanted to participate and do their best, and nobody thought about like in commercial way. So we grouped up with a group of professionals, and we started it like a group, grassroots media. And I suppose in a way it's something that we were all preparing this 8 years to do effective and passionate and sincere media about Ukraine. But also, obviously, all of us, we started working on the front line from the first days. Like everybody from my team, they were like in Saltovka, in Kharkiv in March 2022. And we have huge amount of connections. And yeah, the main goal for us is to show what Ukraine is really going through in cities and in villages, but mostly still because we're like young Ukrainians working in creative industry. For us, it's the main goal is to show that we are really cool, and Ukraine has this really amazing growing culture, and still we are suffering from this awful and primitive war, so for us, exactly, this is the main goal, to show how like cities like Kharkiv, Kiev, Lviv, it's really big cities with their culture, with counterculture, with their own medias, their own leaders and communities. And you live this modern, normal life, and then the war breaks out, and everything changes in like 2 days, and you're living this mm, apocalypse. Like everything changes a lot, and that's what we're like trying to show, that you're now living in normal modern city, and in a matter of days everything can change, and like your close friends or your relatives die, and securitization, militarization starts, and that's awful because you just want to live your normal civil life.
Yeah, that's something that I was telling to my people back before the war, when I had a different channel dedicated to basically civil defense. And I was saying that the worst thing about the war is that your life can change dramatically within a second with the shell flying in your house or your apartment, and everything that surrounds you, the like hot water, grocery stores, electricity, toilet, things like that will just disappear. And it's horrible, of course. But I would like to thank you for your work. People, please subscribe to to United 24 Media. The link is in the title there. And I would like to ask this, Eugene. about the characters you have already interviewed, because I know that you made interviews with a lot of Ukrainian, not only Ukrainian heroes. Can you tell me which interviews were the coolest ones? What would you advise for our viewers to see?
All right. So there. So first of all, again, thanks for having us. Yep. Do you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah, please go on.
Hello. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, I'm so sorry for that. Yeah. So again, thanks for having us. So first of all, we cooperated with a lot of influencers, as I said before. I guess that the most interesting interviews were made by one of NAFO members. I don't know if you guys know what NAFO is and who they are, but feel free to check out Laserpeak videos. He made an interview with Chaz. So he interviewed Chaz probably around a month ago, and the video is live right now. It is on YouTube. And then he also interviewed a Ukrainian pilot. He's a heli pilot, and he was truly amazed by the bravery of helicopter pilots, because, as you guys may know, we really need those F-16s. We really need those planes, but unfortunately, we don't have them. That is why helicopters, they need to cope with the task that they were not made for, and that it sucks. And then I also interviewed a woman from Orikhiv about.
Oh my God, we're losing him. Eugene, come back. Ah, damn it. Guys, we, as expected on this channel, we... Oh, he's back. Can you hear us, my friend?
You're muted,
I guess. Oh no.
Come on, look at the screen.
Bro, I think we cannot hear you. Eugene, can you please tell Eugene if it's possible?
Yeah,
to check his connection. Maybe he needs to reload.
No problem.
Yeah, thank you so much. Meanwhile, I have a question for you, Chaz. Yeah. What is the most difficult thing for you as a volunteer?
Man, the most difficult thing. Honestly, it's probably dealing with other volunteers, to be completely honest with you, man. That's probably been the biggest headache I've had, for the last roughly 2 years since I've been here.
And what's the difficulties like?
Yeah, so the big, it's not a problem, but the big issue, I guess, is you get a lot of guys that they want to come over here, they want to do good, they want to be helpful, and a lot of their heart's in the right place, but you also, when wars like this kind of pop off and kind of start, you get a lot of people that don't have the what's where I'm looking for, like not the education, but they don't maybe have the experience, and they don't understand what war is, right? Like maybe these are young kids who couldn't get into the military in their own country, or something happened, you know what I mean? And so they're kind of coming here for maybe not the thrill of it, but to maybe fulfill some kind of inner need, to help, which is great. That's awesome. People want to do that, but a lot of them have a hard time being totally honest with what it is their past is, right? So if you want to come over here and you want to be a soldier, because a lot of what I've done here is train soldiers, that's great. You want to join the military, you want to be part of the fighting force, that's awesome, but you got to let me know where it is you are, like where you're at as far as your capabilities on a battlefield, right? And so that way I can help you and I can train you and I can make you a better soldier. So that's probably been been the hardest thing, is dealing with Westerners saying, "Oh yeah, man, I know this and I know that," and you take them at their word for it, and you train guys, and then you kind of start seeing them in the training field. It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You should know that this isn't how things work, But yeah, that's probably been the hardest thing.
Can you hear me or not?
Yeah, bro. I think you are okay. Can you say something, Eugene?
Me?
Yeah, me.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Which Eugene?
Guys, you need call signs. What will be your call sign if you have one?
Um,
Eugene?
so if it's me, what I'd like to add is the only thing is you have this big amount of adventurers with really noble motivation, like the people coming, and they're coming like from the adventures of any kind, like people working in the Arctic or people working in the mountains, and they are really like with the
Yeah.
strong will and the idea of like overcoming yourself and doing something good, and they're joining the army in Ukraine. And it's like I really, this is my favorite type of person, the one who like tries to, like in this time for the whole world, I suppose, like the age we're coming into, like and you have this type of person who's trying to do something noble, but afterwards you're joining the army, and army is like really
Yeah.
organized, structured, and bureaucracy, the structure that follows bureaucracy and strict rules. And that's the main problem. And that's what we saw, like when the war started. You had like this first year and half of year when like the will and the person and the you really affected what's going on. And now, like we're in this age, I know, stage of the war, when you just need uh, substantially continuing the work. And that's where most of these adventurers break, because there's less space for the ego and person. And like just the thing that matters more is participating in the common good and following the rules.
Yeah,
That
the
yeah.
romanticism goes away after a year or two of service. It was like that not only during the invasion. It was like that. I don't know. I would say 2018. I already felt a bit burnt out, even though it wasn't as intense as today. But still, there were situations. I think your guys, Chaz, told you a lot about things that happened back in 2017, 2018.
Mhm. Yeah.
Back in those days, we were deployed with my brigade at the Svetlodarsk Bulge, near the very city of Svetlodarsk, near the Vuhlihirsky Reservoir. And on one bank of this reservoir, there were us, and on the southern bank there were Russian hybrid army. And it was a strange time, because back then like we had those monitoring missions roaming in the area, and they were well, it's not like they did their job well. They basically spent their time in somewhere in a pizzeria or whatever. 6 p.m. they were going back to hotel, but they did at least some kind of monitoring. And you could not conduct like any action during the daytime. In the nighttime, everybody did whatever the hell they wanted because the monitoring mission was sleeping. And that's when we were shelled several times, and it was like back in 2017. It was considered the most relaxed year of the war or something like that. 17, 18, nothing much happened back then, and if we were losing men, it was like 1 or 2 guys a month, maybe 10 wounded when we lost 1 or 2 guys due to shelling or snipers. That was considered like, oh my god, and like big event, because now the situation is completely different. Of course, a lot of aviation involved, and long-range missiles and gliding bombs, and oh my god, it's a completely different picture. The guy from the Donetsk airport who fought there before it fell said, it was in Rubizhne, he was with my buddy Max. He said, dude, that was like Donetsk airport comparing to this, to Rubizhne, was like not like a piece of cake, but it was easy. It was easy. So yeah, it's a different thing. Tell me what should people expect coming to Ukraine?
For me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, where do you even start with that? So I guess the first thing,
just 3 things that caught your attention.
Yeah. So the first thing, and I've actually talked to this with some Reporters United 24, is Ukrainian people. They are not scary ex-Soviet concrete human beings. They're very, very helpful people. They're very nice people. I don't think I've really had a bad interaction with Ukrainian. I've been able to go up to Ukrainians who don't speak, English at all, and they've kind of helped me figure out what it is. I'm trying to get to this place, Tuda here, and they're like, oh yeah, like you go this way and left, and so that's definitely not something to be afraid of, because that was something that I was very, very worried about coming over here. Just not having any type of help, and I probably have one of the best, in my opinion, support systems that I've ever had living in a foreign country. That's definitely one. 2 is definitely know what it is you're getting into. You know what I mean? Like, do your research, take some time on the internet. Like, what's going on here is not a game. It's a very, very serious thing. There is a very high chance that you can possibly die at any moment. You can go out in Odessa, and I can go out and I can go grab a beer, and I can go have a burger, and I can go hang out with my friends. But there is zero guarantee that if there's an air raid, that missile is not going to hit that that restaurant or that block of apartments or housing or whatever it is that I am. So you need to be very, very aware of that's a very, very real thing. And then the third thing I always kind of try to tell people is if you are going to come over here, and that kind of goes back to what I was talking about, is make sure you're bringing something to the table. What I mean by that is, if you're going to come here and help, don't just show up and be like, hey guys, I'm here. Let's go do good things. You have to make sure that you have some kind of a military skill or humanitarian skill or medical life-saving skill that you can come over here with and say, look, I'm a trained paramedic. I want to help save lives. You know what I mean? Like, make sure you're coming here with a purpose and a means to achieve that end goal or that game. For example, if you're a medic, make sure you have your triple C's, your combat lifesavers, or you're a paramedic, and you're well prepared to deal with whatever circumstance you're trying to get yourself into. Because there's a lot of people, like I said, that like Eugene was mentioning, they come over here, they're adventurers, and they're very well intended, and they have all these great mindsets or whatever. They have this, they really want to help, but they don't have the tools to really help in a lot of the situations that are going on in Ukraine right now.
Yeah, so you're having this like amazing mindset of the person who ready to travel really far and participate in this war, and obviously it's easy to understand why. But on the other side, sometimes you think because you're a foreigner, it's like you're from this more. That's also a big. How to say, like, miscommunicated, because you think you're coming to Ukraine, you're coming to some rural country with the farmers and people
Yes.
in the villages, and afterwards you're coming to this like really developed old culture with big cities, with people actually understanding, with like good restaurants, and also same for army and technology. Like we're actually having this experience, and yeah, so you have the right mindset, but on the other side, you don't have the right skill set,
Yeah.
And that's usually the problem, that people coming here are feeling so heroic and arrogant, and that's what I call hubris. And
Yeah.
I have friends coming from, like, my close friend, because like I was studying in Canada, and my close friend, he was like from Canada, from Special Operation Forces. He participated in missions in Afghanistan, and he also served in 2017. You can see him on the news. His name is Emil. So like he and three other American guys, they came here. They thought like, okay, it's not a lone war, and that's great to like participate in this like really effective operation to counter Russians. And in the end, like, we helped them a lot, and we did everything to prepare them, and they're like actually real warriors. But Afghanistan is not the war you're having in Ukraine. So they travel. They were preparing for really Legion, I suppose, like for 3 or 4 months. They came on the front line. 2 weeks afterwards, they were on mission. They accomplished the mission. They're coming back in like this, space between the hills. The Russian tank comes, 4 of them dead, and like, like you should understand coming here that it's not the war you're having in Middle East, and it's also because that's what like specializing in, like close quarter combat. Like here, it's not like this. You can receive the random shell or random FPV drone now, and yeah, so it's actually the most weird war we ever had in the history, because like you have this weird mix of technology, but also old style trench warfare, and also hybrid operations, and also electronic warfare, and also aviation. So yeah, it's like coming here, you must be humble, because nobody, like literally nobody in the world has this experience.
Yeah, I can speak to that confidently, that I was one of those people. I will put my hand up that, when I came here, I was definitely much cockier than I should have been, because I came from the American military, and, I know all these things, and I'd spent time in Iraq and Syria and some of these other spots. And then you come here, man, I don't care who you are or what you've been through. Like when we liberated Kherson, and I was spending a lot of time out at the front, like, you get shelled with 155 millimeters or 152 millimeters here. That, pardon my French, that shit is scary. That is terrifying. And there is nothing that can prepare you for it. And there is no one in the U.S. military that has ever faced that kind of like a Russian artillery bombardment. Like, that stuff is genuinely frightening. And, and in America, we don't have doctrine like that, because we're always the guys that have all the cool toys. We're the ones that have that manpower upside. We have the technological upside. We have every advantage, and so that it was a very, very humbling experience to come here and go to the front and see that kind of stuff. Just kind of to Eugene's point, and like I said, I was definitely one of them, man. I thought I knew everything, and I got here and go, ooh, no, I clearly do not know everything.
Yeah, but also confirming the words of operator Starsky. I was working as a special correspondent on the war in Ukraine from 2014, I suppose, till the middle of 2016, and like the most powerful tool of war was Grad, and
Yeah.
now like Grad is like the most innocent thing you can receive, like so easy, just like have this underground, like we call it blindage, so like it's so easy to protect yourself, and like all the other stuff. And also what I would like to I don't know, like to translate that Russians tried it, and the most modern weapon was Grad, and it wasn't effective enough. So they spent 8 years buying technology from France, Germany, buying like actual microchips and I don't know, like sightseeing things, like all the stuff they're using for the rockets, especially for even like for TOS-1, Solntsepok. They spent these 8 years preparing for this war, that you need more effective technology, because the technology they used in 2014 wasn't effective enough. So it's like mortar 1 to 2 millimeters or Grad, and it's not the weapon with which you win the war. And when the first time I traveled like to the front line, being as a journalist in 2022, it was completely another experience. Like all the weapons they're using and the amount of shells, of rockets, of mortar shells, of it's like completely different experience, and you can see how they changed the tactic and how they developed.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially
Yeah.
on Donbass, everything wants to kill you.
I want
Yep.
I wanted to add one interesting point. So we cooperated with an influencer about a year ago, or maybe 1.5 years ago. He was from originally he was from Colombia, but he's actually a Canadian citizen. I reached out to him, and he's a travel blogger, and he said, "Oh, I want to go to Ukraine. That's gonna sound like an interesting experience." And then he said, what do you need to get prepared to? So I connected him to some people on the front line. They told him everything, but at the end of the day, he said, I'm from Colombia. Colombia is a country where on that one side of the street they're selling cocaine, and the other side of the street there are guys chasing them. He said, oh, that's fine, nothing's gonna happen. Then he came to Lviv, then he came to Kiev, and then this guy wanted to come to Kharkiv Oblast, like 2 weeks after the liberation. So imagine being like a civilian guy coming to just liberated territories from like Russian troops. And right when he came there, he came by the bus, if I'm not mistaken. Like the sirens were everywhere. People were really scared, and they told him to go to the like bomb shelter. And when he got to the bomb shelter, he said, "I want my mommy," because he was so like terrified, because he was definitely not expecting it. So it, like, if you want to come to Ukraine, if you want to help Ukraine, no matter if you are like Chaz, if you know what the military operations are, or if you're just a civilian, you need to understand that this is terrifying, not just scary. That's really dangerous, because as the war is developing, unfortunately, Russia is getting more technologies. Right now, they don't have an access to the technologies from Germany, from France, but they do have access to the technologies from China. And the Chinese technologies, they're not like Chinese toys. They work, unfortunately. So yeah, they're developing. They have more weapon every day, and nobody's gonna guarantee you that you're gonna survive. But if you come to Ukraine, if you're gonna help our country, I mean, you're gonna be not just a great guy, you're gonna be a hero.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I would
One of the
just
things that sorry, yeah, go on, please.
Yeah, I would just like to add that actually, and for everyone from the outside and mostly from the Western world, like Russians still have access to Western technology, and they're using these proxy companies in Hong Kong, and they're using proxy companies from, I don't know, Cyprus and from Kazakhstan, and you can find journalist investigations proving it. So they're still buying Western technologies to fulfill their goals, to produce the rockets and to produce the smart rockets, which they can't produce by themselves. So what I just like one of our main goals as United 24 Media is like to emphasize that part that you need to push your governments to control it, because legally it's prohibited for sure, but like obviously you can have this chain of proxy companies buying something from Kazakhstan for the company from Hong Kong, but you're sending the cargo from Germany to I don't know, like to Kazakhstan, but on the way they're surpassing the Russian territory by documents like they're receiving in Kazakhstan, but obviously they're just like lifting cargo in Russia and they're using it. So also the meme of like Russians stealing the washing machines is not because they don't have Russian washing machines. It's because they have microchips in washing machine that you can use in HX555. So basically, they still have access to Western technology, and like I know forbidding them from using it is like the main goal, because without it, they're just gonna use the old technology from 1920s, 19. I'm done.
I forgot what I wanted to say. Anyways, let's answer some questions in the commentaries. And by the way, we have another military here in the chat, a British military, my good friend Ryan Forrest. Hello, my friend. It's very nice to see you here. Yeah, there is a question from Team Bob. Do you think Navalny was a suicide? Good question, a bit off topic though, but by the way, guys, do you think it was a suicide?
Like everything in Russia, of course.
I think generally being a Russian oppositionist is a suicide until Putin rules the party.
Yeah, but I mean, the guy came back knowing it's a suicide. Like he attempted to be an icon. So obviously it's not suicide.
After being poisoned by Novichok, I think like life doesn't matter. Oh my God, is that a doggy?
Yes.
Hey, doggy dog.
Mine is in a different place. In a bedroom.
What kind of dog do you have?
Yeah, I have a big standard poodle.
Ah, big poodle.
I have a Welsh Corgi cardigan.
Ah, nice. Chaz, cats or dogs?
Oh, I'm definitely a dog guy. But that being said, at the front, man, I had a cat, a little combat kitty, and I love that thing.
Yeah. We all do. We all have pets at the front. I think Ukraine. Our viewers already know this, that if Ukrainian goes to the front line, he has to have like this small area where he can grow onions. Like near his foxhole or something, and he must also have cat to kill mice, because mice are.
And that right there is why I was so in love with my cat, because we were living in a small village, and at the time the village had, there's no electricity, no internet, no water, no heat. I mean, it was a little wood burning stove in this house for, like 8 guys, and it was a 2-bedroom house. And it was quite funny because someone else had actually brought the cat into the house, and I was very much a different, I didn't want the cat. I was like, I don't want a freaking animal. We have to take care of it. We have to feed it, all this other stuff. We had a lot of mice running around, and within about 3 days, that cat had systematically killed every mouse in this house, and that was impressive. Like, that thing has more kills than most guys I know on the front lines. Like, and after that, I was like, all right, you are my best friend, because I hate putting my hand down in a backpack or something and you feel a freaking mouse, moving around because you had a candy bar in there or something.
Yeah. Oh my God! It reminded me a story. 2020. It was 2020. Same Svetlodarsk Bulge, in the area of Novomykhailivka, south of Novomykhailivka. So there was a position, and our anti-air guys were there, and we were sleeping in a bunker. I went there as a press officer to make like some videos and shots and interviews, and they had something like 5 dogs living with them in the underground bunker, and a small cat. But that cat was worth all those dogs, because I was sleeping there in my sleeping bag, and then I feel this cat just jumping on me, and it was like tiny, like this big, and like just a kitten. And I woke up and I see this cat eating a mouse, like here, sitting on my chest and eating a mouse, and its intestines are like all over my sleeping bag, and I'm like, oh my God. And then it ate the mouse and started purring, and the sound was as if like the Russian tank was like riding,
They're just
around our
crunching. Yeah.
position. Yeah.
Dude,
Oh,
sorry. Very, very similar story. And that's how I knew that this cat that we had was just a cold-blooded killer, and it was built for the front line, because I was lucky enough to have a very small room that had a bed in it. So, and I was lucky enough to be the only guy that, so I kind of had my own room, which was awesome. And again, no electricity. So, and I wake up to hearing this like crunching noise, like, just that noise you're talking about with the tank. And I'm kind of, it's absolutely dead of midnight, no light. And I get up, I put my little headlamp on, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? And finally in the corner, I see the cat, and he's like looking at the wall, right? Just sitting in the corner. And it's super creepy anyways. It's something like you would imagine of The Walking Dead or something, and this cat just turns around and just like locks eyes with me, and it's got this mouse, hanging out of its mouth, and just continues to eat this whole mouse and just crunch it to death, making eye contact with me. I was like, oh my God, you are a killer. And I just kind of take the sleeping bag up. It's like, oh my God, don't come after me next, man. But yeah, that's cats are the best thing, I think, when it's that kind of warfare, because they just don't care, and they're just cold-blooded killers, man.
yeah, absolutely. Dog is your best friend at home, like in the green
Yeah.
area, but in the green zone, where you can relax and pet this fluffy bastard, and like relieve your stress and stuff. Cats is what you have to have on the front line, on your position. Grant will talk about it a bit later. On your position, because like they're fluffy, they're cute, but at the same time they're perfect killers. They're like naturally created as perfect weapons. So yeah, like I love cats. I respect cats, but I like dogs more, because
Yeah.
every time you return home and they meet you, and oh my God, it's the best thing you can have. One thing I learned from another volunteer, Oleg. I made a video with him on my channel. He said there are 2 things. First thing, you should definitely, when coming to Ukraine, you should definitely know what will you be doing here. because some people just come to Ukraine searching for, you know, where to find their mission, their goal, how to help, you know, without any proper plan, and then they just spend money staying in the hotel in Kiev downtown, and after a week or two they just go home. And another thing, you should have some skills, like you said before, skills that you can implement. Because, for example, if you're a policeman, ask yourself whether your skills and your training will be needed, will be required at the front line. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, is it relevant? But that's what I'm saying. Like, if you still have this attitude and like mindset of the person coming to frontline and like participating, it's like French Civil War. You know, they're like different two sides, and mostly we know the people from the right side. I mean, like right, not the right left. But I mean, like, if you're still open to study and like you're not being an arrogant person thinking that you were a policeman in I know, Minnesota, coming here thinking you're like the apex predator, but like coming here willing to participate and being ready to like study all the experience, what's going on here, it's still fine, you know. Like, it's all about the attitude, because like I know huge amount of really skilled guys coming here and doing their job really good in like GUR. You actually have and me and Chaz, we know like some of those guys, they're like really effective because they're actually they were special operation forces back to their country and they know what to do. That's why people usually from special operation forces, it's one of the main skills is being open and investigate and study the environment and the people they're dealing with. Like other kind of people, yeah, it's like I know Marine after after the service in United States and like the Afghanistan, they're being pulled back. You don't know what to do. You come to Ukraine, you think you're the apex predator, but like the war differs a lot, and kind of weapons they're using differs a lot. Coming here with the noble cause to support Ukraine and like freedom and democracy, and I know like opposing Russians who's doing awful things here is fine, but the main thing you need to apprehend is like you must study from people who spent here 2 years, and even for soldiers and for special operation forces here in Ukraine, you see different kind of people. Some of them, like the war even in Ukraine, it changed 2 times. Like you had this close combat warfare in cities like Kiev and Kharkiv. It's one skill set. Afterwards, you had this counteroffensive part, and it's another skill set. And now you're having this trench warfare, and like I suppose the worst thing for a special operation forces guy is to be is to serve in like infantry unit in the trench, because like basically the only goal for you is to keep the land and be the eyes for other units. So yeah, you need to prepare in advance the unit you're going to join, and also you need to be open to all the experienced people gathered here, because this war differs a lot from everything happened before.
You know, and again, to piggyback on that is, for example, like you're talking about, you know, the equipment being different, right? So when I was training soldiers when I first got here, I wanted to try to train them how to shoot based on what I knew using the M4, the M16 platform, right? At the time, back, you know, May 2022, April 2022, there weren't M4s and M16s running around. And the AK weapon system it's completely different. You know, it's much quicker. Like, so we're always kind of taught, because like, for example, our release for a magazine is here on the side. So you can still keep your eyes down your barrel to change your magazine. Well, on an AK-74, AK-47, AKS, AKES, whatever system you're with, it's much different, right? Because your cocking lever is on the right-hand side. So you have to change how you work the weapon system. And if you don't, like he was saying, if you don't adapt to these kind of things, you don't listen to the guys who have been fighting this war, for 10 years now, you're definitely going to make mistakes, and you're not going to set these guys up for success. Same thing, like you're saying, trench warfare. There is no one better at trench warfare than a dude that has been fighting in Donbass since 2014. Like, that's just, they've lived that life for a decade. And there's not an American that I know in the last probably 50 years that has fought a war like that, and would have that kind of experience. And for me to come in and think that I'm going to tell some guy who's been fighting this kind of war for 8 or 10 years how to do it, that would be pretty ignorant, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, absolutely. And why skills are important. I remember, 2018, I talked to one of my friends. He was a press officer in the Ministry of Interior. And he said, I want to quit being a press officer, and I want to volunteer. I want to enlist to the airborne 95th Brigade. I'm like, dude, no. Like, yeah, you're a big guy and everything, but it takes 2 weeks to train a person to shoot precisely and to operate, to learn basics of operating a rifle. But it takes freaking years to train a professional communications person. And who knows which is, I think either guys are important. They have like different goals, different tasks, but they are equally important. So skills are very, very important thing. There is a question from one of our viewers, HC. I'm having exactly these questions. NAFO is awesome, but I'm determined to come help this summer. Any advice on where to look for volunteer work? Chaz, can you answer this one?
Yeah, so I can, yeah. Actually, Eugene, one of you guys either Eugene's may have a better answer for me on this one, but I do know that there's a number of websites that have been set up to support Ukraine, where you can literally go in, like you can go to Google and say, I want to support Ukraine, right? And they'll bring up a list of all of these, like a number of different NGOs or humanitarian groups. And that'll kind of lead you down the path, like, oh, click on this link if you want to help, click on this link if you want to donate. So definitely, like I said, just give that a Google, and that'll definitely help you find whatever it is you want to do. Because maybe you want to, whether it's medical or you want to bring water and food up to the front, to people that just don't have access to those things, or, maybe you want to go save cats and dogs. There's so much stuff that could be done here. Maybe you want to help demine fields. I don't know. But I do know that there's a number of websites that are set up to help people, kind of get here and give them some kind of goal. And with that being said, is if you are going to come over here and you are going to help, like I said, make sure you have a skill set. And if you don't have a skill set and you just want to be a guy, that drives food up to the front or whatever, make sure you've made touch with a humanitarian group or NGO or, whatever it is, because if not, you're going to kind of like you said, you're going to be stuck here in Kyiv, staying in a hotel room every night, not doing anything, and just kind of being I don't want to say a burden. That's not the right word, but
a tourist.
You're not going to fulfill what it is you came here to do. And you're just kind of going to get stuck in this rut or this Groundhog's Day of hoping someone's going to get in contact with you. It's not going to happen here. You have to go out and you have to go find the work.
Yeah.
So
I would
make
just
sure that you're proactive finding yourself a job if you're going to come over here.
I would just add, it's even better to prepare in advance, like in everything. So mostly people seeing like footage from Ukraine, you're seeing the footage from frontline, and they're mostly destroyed cities or destroyed villages. But you're coming to cities, and I met huge amount of foreigners coming here, and you're coming to big city like Kiev has population 3.5. I suppose now it's 4.5. So you're actually coming to a big megapolis and literally finding any kind of, I don't know, action or social activity. It
Yeah.
depends on your preparation and being part of some kind of group. So for everyone coming here, what I would recommend is to prepare in advance. It doesn't depend on like the money or even the skill set. There are a huge amount of NGOs or initiatives which you can join, and also you can always write at you can go to united24.media and you can write us a letter, and maybe we can help you to, like, find how you can participate, be effective as a person in any kind of initiative. That's all. And just to like fulfill the part that Chaz said, it's not only about being like special operation forces, I don't know, it's mostly the war, and that Chaz knows as the person who served for a long time, is like supporting the troops on the front line. And there's huge space for people to, I know, realize and be effective and help people on the actual front line, because those videos you're seeing is mostly like it's like 3 to, I don't know, 7% of people actually doing this assault operations or special operations, but mostly the whole war is about like fighting how do you say it, irritation, or like just being on position and surviving everything
Yeah.
that comes at you. And to
Yeah,
people,
that's something that I try to tell people in some other interviews. To your point is, there's nothing fun, there's nothing glorious, there's nothing exciting about being on the front line. It is, for the most part, very boring. It's you're living in very poor conditions. You don't like. There's nothing cool about it. There's nothing exciting about it. And it's more about just making sure you stay alive till tomorrow, because the only thing that's exciting is when Russian artillery or airstrikes, mortars, whatever it is, come in and hit you. At least down here in the south, yeah. Because I've only operated down in the Kherson region, but yeah, that's most of it is sitting around and mostly doing nothing, just surviving. So kind of another thing to people to keep in their mind if they think they're gonna be one of these massive heroes that you see in these videos of these guys storming these trenches. That's a very, very small amount of what this war really is.
and they're usually like the major or under colonel, like usually all the special operation forces, like men 35 plus, having the experience serving for 10 years from now, really understanding what's going on, having this creative mind to use the environment, the weapons they have, and they're not usually using like especially for special operations for they're not even using Western weapons, because you don't have so much space to take munitions with you. So usually you're using those munitions which Russians use. But to add here, for Ukrainian war effort, what we really need is like electronic warfare specialists, like the actual NATO officers understanding how the common forces operation works, like strategy, tactical operations, electronic warfare. That's what I think we can use drastically, because like Russians are really, really developed in electronic warfare, and that's
Yeah.
used to oppose the drones in which we are really developed.
Yeah, absolutely. There was a question from one of the viewers. So much talk about who should not come to Ukraine, but who should actually come. I think number one is infantry. If you want to volunteer, if you want to help, number one is infantry.
Yep.
Yeah, and then I would say medics, and then I would say people helping with logistics, and basically providing troops with equipment. Chaz, what's your thoughts?
Yeah. If we were going to go down a list of what skill sets you have, I would absolutely agree with that. Yeah, I mean, to a T. The big thing that I do want to bring up is that when I say that, I'm not trying to tell people not to come, even if you don't have a skill set, right? But when you do come, be honest about who you are. Like, if you want to come be a soldier, like, I can train you to be a soldier, right? We have guys that can teach you how to fight, but you have to come in saying, hey, I've never fought. I've never fired a gun. I've never done this, right? Because then we know where your level is, right? And that allows us to train you better instead of coming in and at the British, they call them like Walter Middies. That's a term we become very familiar with over here. And those people who kind of lie about their past because they want to seem cooler than they are, or this and that. And, the bottom line is, dude, if you come over here to help, like, you already have my respect. You have the respect of millions of people around the world. But just be honest with the guys you're working with and say, I don't know. I need help, right? Be able to do that, I mean, for Christ, Zelensky said it himself, when the British were going to fly him out. He's like, I don't want to ride out. Like, I just need bullets. I just need help to fight this fight, right? Like, be able to stand up, say, I need help. I want to learn and I want to help. And as long as you have that mindset, you'll be okay here, I think.
Yeah. Eugene, I think you can answer this question. So people are asking things like, are there logistics positions, forklift loading, boring things? What can you advise to those people?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure like Ukrainian army needs all kinds of specialists. Yeah, so like forklifting for sure is something someone needs to be doing, and it's amazing if it's a person joining the Ukrainian military. Even in foreign legion, I suppose you have positions like this. Yes, so it's not only assault operations.
Yeah, but the main answer to these guys is you gotta Google. So there's 100% a Ukrainian community in your town, in your hometown, wherever you are.
Yeah.
And 100% some of the volunteering organizations that help Ukrainians, they are connected to those Ukrainian communities. Just go there, find contacts, and this is how you do it. Find either Ukrainians or volunteers helping Ukrainians in your hometown. It's not that hard, but you have to do it yourself. Fortunately, there's not a single database of like vacancies and stuff like that. Doesn't exist. That's the truth. And this one is interesting. Don't volunteer with the Red Cross. Guys, Eugene and Chaz, what's your experience, if any, what's your experience of working with the Red Cross?
I have an Chaz, maybe I answered this first because we had this interview with guys from Azov, Gandalf, and Jedi.
Oh, yeah.
Russian prison, and actually, yeah, you can check our YouTube channel, and it's in live section. It's a big interview, which we think is really good, and it doesn't have enough views because they really describing the situation they've been to, and also one of them is officer, and another one is just soldier, and even in this you have different conditions. So about the Red Cross, you have Red Cross Switzerland and you have Red Cross Russia. And Red Cross Switzerland, like, actually has no power in Russia. Like, they delegate the power to Red Cross Russia. And that's the problem, because Red Cross Russia, what, like, the guy from Azov and the other POWs we spoke to, they're like mocking the people, and like, in the documents and reports, they're writing that they doing their job properly, and I know, like, surveilling the conditions of prisoners of war, but actually they're just collaborating with the Russian, like the Russian prison system. It has huge history of gulag, and you have these awful procedures of breaking people, of like making people think and do what you want to. And Red Cross is being used as one of the instruments, because it's like you have this brand of Red Cross, which like seems it's international NGO. They will help you, they will participate, and they're using them as a good cop, and the prison guards as a bad cop. So yeah, with the Red Cross, I have mixed feelings, because I don't understand why there's still Red Cross Russia, because they still have the mandate from the Red Cross Switzerland, but they have no power, So they're using that brand, but doing exactly opposite thing.
Yeah, and on my side, I honestly can't really talk anything to it. I've never had to deal with the Red Cross directly or even indirectly, for that matter. But what I can tell you is people that I do know that have talked about the Red Cross, it's, again, almost like Eugene said, it's 50-50. For every guy that says they do a great job, there's someone that says, oh, they're worthless and they don't do anything. So yeah, sorry, I can't give you too much, insight on that one, my man.
Yeah, absolutely. There's several organizations. There's Ukrainian Red Cross, for example, in Ukraine. There's Red Cross Russia. There's International Red Cross, as I already mentioned, and those are like the local organizations have basically a mandate from the Red Cross International, but they do different things, because, for example, Red Cross Ukraine, they did a lot in Kherson area during the Kakhovka Dam demolition and the flood, and they helped people, and basically they did their job. International Red Cross, that's basically a bunch of guys sitting in the Kiev downtown near Velika Vasilkivska Street and using those massive armored white trucks to deliver pizza and prostitutes. That's all they do.
But I mean, it's management,
Well, that's the truth. So there are different organizations, and of course, yeah, Red Cross Russia is the guys that are barely seen in the Russian prisons, and if they are seen, they're used as freaking, how you call it, like, not like executioners, but the torturers. Guys, we have to call it a day, because it's already 11:15 p.m. in Kiev. I think we have to give our guest Chaz some rest. It was my pleasure to have you here, and I would like to say big thanks for what you're doing for my people. One thing that our viewers must know is that no matter how exactly they help Ukraine, no matter what exactly they do or they want to do here, but this will never be forgotten by the Ukrainian people. And we will always appreciate this, and we will always remember this, even after decades and centuries. We will keep that in our heart. So thank you so much for what you're doing. I appreciate it.
Yep.
And also big thanks to United 24 Media guys. Again, what you're doing is amazing, bringing the information, bringing the feelings, the emotions of the Ukrainian people towards our international audience is absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much, because this is so important. Russians can spend billions of dollars every month just on external propaganda, doing all kinds of crazy shit, producing fakes like on insane scale, but only with the truth, only with facts, and only with emotions we can fight this misinformation. And big thanks to you guys for doing your job.
Yeah, I will just add the advertising part, that we're gonna have really huge exclusive material, not from Ukraine, but part of Russia-Ukrainian war on 23rd. And I really recommend you, like, at least on 23rd to check our channel, because it's gonna be huge. And also next week we're gonna have this exclusive material about HIMARS operators, which like nobody did, I suppose, in 1 year. And I spent half a year to speak to them. And there's also some interesting information, which like amount of rockets they spent, only this unit spent during the whole warfare. Like, it's also really interesting if you understand like the scale of war and the scale of the front line. So yeah, at least for this week and next week, for those who are interested in the war, I really recommend to check it, just not to miss these two big materials. And thank you for your invitation. It was a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Thank you for connecting me with Chaz. Big thanks to you guys. And also big thanks to our today's moderators. Again, you're doing fantastic job eliminating Russian trolls. Yeah, guys, thank you so much for being with us tonight. It was a pleasure. As always, be safe and see you next time.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Thank you all.
See you.
Appreciate it.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, y'all.